Hello and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and a quite mad looking puzzle. I mean, I say mad, the last couple of days have been mad puzzles. Actually, have I still got the tab? I might still have the tab from yesterday. If you haven't had a look at this puzzle, called Losing Your Marbles, appropriately named by the peddling pianist, definitely check this out. This is a wonderfully funny puzzle, and it's clever as well, really clever. But today we are going to have a look at this puzzle, which is called Jigsaw, appropriately enough. Jigsaws are actually going through something of a renaissance, aren't they? It's by Kaktuslav, this. So another feature for Kaktuslav, who continues to wow the puzzling world with just invention after invention. This is extraordinary. We've got to put the digits only 1 to 7 in this grid. And yeah, so there is in there. You can sort of see it actually, which is good because we're going to have to solve it. There is a sort of 7 by... Oh my god, I shouldn't have done that. There is a 7 by 7 grid hiding in here. And you can see the jigsaws. And we'll do the rules properly in a moment, but it says each jigsaw piece has the same sum. So it's some sort of killer Sudoku type variation. But apparently it's very, very clever, this. It looks very clever. It looks very interesting. And this is what we're going to have a go at in today's video, to continue a run of, as I say, extraordinary puzzles over the last few days. Now, what else can I tell you about before we kick off and we read the rules together properly? There is so much going on in and around the channel at the moment. We're streaming again next Monday. We have scheduled that now. So if you've been enjoying... or even getting annoyed with us over our blueprints streams, we are going back to the mansion next Monday night, 10 p.m. UK time. Love to have your company for that. Stratford has sold out, so there's nothing we can do about that. All of the tickets have gone, so if you were hoping to see us in November, I doubt there's much of a black market, but all the tickets have gone. What else? Over on Patreon, we've got a bit of extra crossword content at the moment from Mark solving Spider by Sabre, which I solved a couple of weeks ago as well. So Mark's releasing a suite of videos showing how he went about doing the same puzzle I did. It's a brutally hard puzzle, so it's many videos long, but that's over on Patreon, as well of course as the Skunkworks. This 68 puzzle Sudoku hunt. Oh, let's have a look at Blobs's bell curve. So we're now at 2087 for the first puzzle and nearly 900 for all the puzzles. It's incredible. It really is. I hope I've got that on the screen correctly. It's just absolutely fantastic. So well done to everybody who's been getting involved in that. And there's still plenty of time left. Still a whole 5 days left before the competition closes. I think, what else is going on? I think we might have a couple of puzzles in the Wall Street Journal this coming weekend. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you that, but we might. So that's a truth. We heard today, thank you Dimitri for letting me know about this, that Peter Svidler is trying to get into cryptic crosswords. So I am desperate. If anybody has a way of reaching Peter Svidler, we'd love to get him on the channel to solve a puzzle with us. Wouldn't that be tremendous? And well, apart from all these ramblings, let me do the birthdays. Well, I've got birthdays and I've got other things to do today. So we'll start off though with a birthday. John, you're over there in Portugal, and I know from your very good friend, is it Adrienne? I hope I'm saying that correctly. It could be Adrienne. It could be sort of a longer sound in the middle then. But Adrienne, who is in Germany, she wrote to say, could we wish you a happy birthday? I think the two of you both watch CTC. And, well, thank you for doing that. And John, I hope you have a great birthday today. Portugal is a country I have visited often, and I have always enjoyed it greatly. And many happy returns. I hope the chocolate cake is good. Next, Penelope. Your husband Andrew wrote to me. I think the two of you are normally in Maryland. which I always sort of, I'm never quite sure I master the pronunciation of what looks to me as an Englishman like Maryland, but I know I meant to say it Maryland. I think it's Maryland. But the two of you are on holidays at the moment in the mountains of Virginia. That sounds terrific. And you're planning on having red velvet cake, baking red velvet cake today, no less. And 1-to-1 ratio of icing to cake is the target. So good luck with that. And you both watch most evenings. So Penelope, thank you for watching, and Andrew too. And I hope that red velvet cake is good. Next, we will go. We'll pop over to China, where Sally is currently there as part of the US team competing in the 10th World Kung Fu Championships. And Sally, I know this, of course, because your sister Anne wrote to us and said, could we wish you good luck with your events, which of course we can, which I think are on Saturday and Sunday coming up. So the best of luck. I would not be very good at Kung Fu, let me tell you, so I'm quite jealous that you are. And I hope that you, I don't know what the correct expression is. I hope it's a knockout for you. Is that the idea of Kung Fu, or is Kung Fu all about being very graceful? I'm not sure, but whatever you're meant to do, Sally, I hope it goes brilliantly. And then finally, we had a message from Bradley, who in turn had a message for Serene. And Serene, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, Serene. You're both in Canada, and you've been, I know the two of you have been dating now for about 3 months. And Bradley's message, well, Bradley wanted to let you know, Serene, that he would really very much like you to be his girlfriend. And if you can agree to this, he will definitely get you some chocolate cake with an enormous frosting to cake ratio. And I think that sounds really rather splendid. So Serene, that's the question, I suppose. I hope that the answer was in the affirmative. Do let us know. And Bradley and Serene, thank you both very much for watching the channel. And that's all the news. That's rather a cool message at the end there. Let's have a look at Jigsaw by Kaktuslav and see what the great man has in store for us. We have got to place each digit 1 to 7 exactly once in each row and column of the 7x7 grid. So you can see it's sort of hiding in there. It's like got a perimeter. I don't know why there's a perimeter. It's probably something to do with these pieces. The grid is covered by 16 jigsaw pieces. Each piece covers the same sum. However, there is more. It says if a cell is covered by more than one piece. Is that? Oh yeah, okay, that one is. Yeah, okay. So that cell is covered by more than one jigsaw piece. Its digit is split between those pieces proportionally to the area covered. And there's an example. We're going to have to look at that. Okay, so for example, if row 4, column 4, let's look at that piece, contains the digit X, then this cell contributes a quarter X to the sum of the piece covering row 3, column 3. Oh, I see. Good grief. Right. So, can you see that there is a jigsaw piece? So that cell is in a jigsaw piece that's got lots of little bits being contributed to it. So, so it's a quarter. So say I put a 4 in here. I think what that means is that this cell contributes 1, because that's a quarter of 4, to this jigsaw piece. Hang on, there's more. Half X to the sum of the piece covering row 3, column 5. Oh. Oh golly gosh, this is yeah, you can see that jigsaw piece is indeed half of that cell is in this light blue area. This light blue piece. So 2 would be contributed to this area if this was a 4. and a quarter x to the sum of the piece covering row 5, column 5. Let's see if I can get this. So that's the dark blue. That's the sort of bottom left of this cell is in this jigsaw piece. And so we take a quarter of that, which is 1, and that contributes 1 to this piece. Oh, good grief. I mean, this is actually quite a lot more complicated than I'd realised when I loaded the puzzle. And I forgot to look at it on Logic Masters Germany, so I don't know how hard it is, but I'm beginning to suspect it might be harder than I'd thought it might be. Anyway, each piece covers the same sum. Right, so anyway, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. So it must be mathematics, isn't it? We've got to say... Hang on, is that true? Yeah, that must be true. Well, my first thought is that this is something to do with the number 28. And that could be total and utter rubbish. Because what I'm thinking is, I know the triangular number for 7 is 28, i.e. the sum of the digits 1 to 7. If you add them up, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7, you get 28. So I know the total of every cell in this grid, which is 7 times 28, which is always a terrifying sum. I want to say that's 196, but I'm actually going to do that again much more slowly. The way I did that was 30 times 7, and I took 14 off. That's right, isn't it? That feels right. Well, the other way of doing it is to say it's times 7 plus 56, 140, add 50, 196. Okay, I've got 196 coming from below and above it. So 196 is the total of all the digits in the puzzle. So each jigsaw piece, because it doesn't, you know, if that cell has got a 4 in it, the net contribution that 4 makes to the grid is still 4. It's just parcelled up into the pieces. Yeah, so there's 16 jigsaw pieces. So 196 divided by 16 is... Oh, no. No, that's... Okay, that is absolutely terrifying. Okay. I'm now absolutely sure this puzzle's harder than I thought, because that's fine, isn't it? Yeah, I haven't actually worked it out yet. I can see in my brain's saying, well, that doesn't go. And it doesn't, does it? 196 divided by 16 is 1, and then 36, which is, so it's 12. And, oh, what is it? It's 12. With a remainder of 4. Is that... So it's 12 and a quarter. Is that true? I think it's 12 and a quarter. 196. 136, 2, 4. Yeah, 12 and a quarter. So every jigsaw piece, so the 16 jigsaw pieces, each sum to 12 and a quarter. And you... Yeah, I was about to say, can you make a quarter in the puzzle? But of course you can. That shape, for example. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to think about that shape. This top left jigsaw piece has 3 numbers in it that are entirely... Well, it has 3 cells in it that are entirely in the top left piece. The only bit... And they're going to contain numbers, so that they aren't contributing a quarter of a value to this piece. The only way of getting a quarter into it is to put something in this cell, which seems to have 4 jigsaw pieces going into it. So it's going to contribute a quarter of this digit to this piece. So if that was a 1... Oh, bother. Okay, yeah, the problem is that could be a 5, couldn't it? because 5 divided by 4 would still deliver a quarter to this piece. It would just deliver 1 1/4 rather than exactly a quarter. Okay, well that digit I think is 1 or 5. That is something I'm going to claim. And these 3 digits either add up... Oh, this is going to be horrendous. So they either add up to 12 if this is a 1, or if this is a 5, they add up to 11. Yeah, oh, goodness me. But this isn't a killer Sudoku cage, is it? No. No, I don't think it is. So I don't... Normally, if this was a killer Sudoku cage, we couldn't repeat a digit in here. And that would be interesting. But what's to stop those being the same digit? That wouldn't... The Sudoku rules don't prevent these being the same, and there's nothing saying that this top left piece can't have a repeated digit in it. So that means there's not much of a restriction on that. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing there, look. That bottom left piece only has one little tiny sticky in thing, which is again a quarter of a cell. So that's a 1 or a 5. And these two either add up to 12 or 11. Yeah, the outside bit is a bit weird, actually. It makes it look like these pieces are going into very strange areas. I mean, some of these pieces are absolutely horrific. Look at this one. That one, it's getting a bit of that one. It's getting half of that one, half of this one, a quarter of this one, the whole of this one, a quarter of this one, a half of this one, and a quarter of this one. And you've got to make all that add up to 12 1/4. Good luck. Okay, that one. Okay, it's not. Is it a symmetrical grid? No, it's not. Okay, but that shape is the same as that shape, I think. It's only got one funny thingy, a quarter of this cell sticking into it. So there's a 1-5 pair in this row. So this is probably where we need to look, is it? 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7. I mean, how on earth are you meant to do this? Yeah, there's something weird. This piece, this light blue piece here, I think it's the same piece as this and this. It's the same shape. So that's also a 1 or a 5. So there's a 1-5 pattern. I am so sorry. That's a big interruption I've just had there. The alarm on my phone went off because I was due to go and collect some people, and I'd forgotten, so I had to go and do that. So that has been quite a while, and I'm now back at my computer, and I can't remember what I was doing. So I was putting 1s and 5s in here, and right, let me just catch up with where we were. We got to a 12. It was 12 1/4, wasn't it? I'm not even sure I can remember that. Was it 12 1/4? It was 196 divided by 16, which is 12 1/4. Right. So we were at 12 1/4, and I have got to make all the pieces add to 12 1/4. How hard can it be? The answer is probably very hard still, isn't it? So we've got this 1-5 thing going on, which means that no, see, these are all the same, aren't they? These are all the same. And I mean, the thing is, here, I can't actually see, and this might be the fault of me being away from the grid, but you look at it and there's nowhere, that one maybe, if that's a 1, that's contributing a quarter to this, so that they would have to add up to 12. If that's a 5, it's 1 1/4, so this domino adds up to at least 11, and there's no 8s and 9s in the puzzle, so this is made up of digits that are at least as high as 4, I'm going to claim. Is that a fair comment? That feels correct. Now we can't do the same there because there's another digit that's got to be sort of included in the sum. That one just looks, I mean, that looks horrific. It's got 3, I suppose it's got 3 whole digits in it, then a quarter of that, whatever this turns out to be, and then a quarter of that. Well, and this one's got a quarter of that. Oh, well, hang on though. Hang on a moment before we go much further. To quote Rod Stewart, well, that one, don't I have to be careful with that one, or is that nonsense? I've got 2 real digits, a quarter digit, so this can't give rise to a fraction, or this won't add up. So that has to be 0 mod 4, doesn't it? And there's only 1 digit that will do that. That's got to be a 4. That might be wrong, but that feels right, because that's contributing a quarter of value to this pot. So if this was anything else, it would contribute a fraction. And because this is already contributing the correct fraction, something would break. We'd need these two to be a fraction, and they can't. So that's a 4. Right. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some pencil marking. 2, 3, 6, 7. Now what does that do? Can that be? So that's these two. It must be these two. If that is 1, then it's contributing a quarter. This is a 1, so that's 1 1/4. So these would have to add up to 11, which would be difficult. But if that's a 5, it's contributing 1 1/4. 1 1/4 plus 1 is 2 1/4, so these would add up to 10. So these either add up to 10 or 11. So they don't include 2. That's all I'm going to get from that, because they could be 3, 7. That means. So, that's tremendously terrible, actually, isn't it? That's just not a useful deduction. These add up to at least 10. So this digit is at least a 3. Is that what I'm getting from that? Yeah, that digit's at least 3. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So do we have to separate the 1s and the 2s in this column? Actually, that can't be a 1. Where's 1 in column 1? Can it be there? 1. Oh, those, yeah. These could be anything, because they don't have to be different. That Sudoku is not going to help us in this puzzle, except in very, very clear places. So in this column, we might be about to be getting another interruption. I think it's okay. Right, hang on. What was I thinking about? I'm losing my train of thought now. Again, 1s and 2s in this column. I haven't found a space I can put them in yet. I could put them. No, I couldn't put them both there, because even if that was a 7, they would only add up to 10, and then that would be 1 1/4 at most. So that's 11 1/4. So this isn't 1 and 2. Can you put 1 and 2 there? If this was 1 and 2, that would be 3 plus 7 is 10. Plus a quarter, 11. Oh, that is, if that's a 5, that's fine. That would work. 1, 2, 7. 5, which gives 1 and a quarter. 4, which gives 1, and everything works. So, I mean, look at this shape. Look at it. It's got one digit in it that counts for itself. We've got a weird digit coming in from here. A half digit, a quarter digit, a half digit, and a quarter digit. As though the quarter digit at least is quite a good quarter digit because it's just an easy fraction. You can't do... oh, that's not a 5. You can't do like killer Sudoku. Can you do that? Like that piece, that piece, that piece, and that piece. Yeah, that ought to work, I think. So, oh, that's quite nice. Right, so what I'm saying is that those 4 pieces, the value in those 4 pieces is going to be 4 times 12 and a quarter, which is 48 plus 1, which is 49. Right, so the digits, the values in these 4 pieces sum to 49, but they overlap an awful lot with the first 2 rows of the grid, don't they? The first 2 rows of the grid are going to add up to 56, 2 lots of 28. 1 to 7 there, 1 to 7 there. So the digits that stick out, I was about to say they're going to add up to 7. That's not true. They're going to, the values that are being hypothecated off into pieces that are not these 4 red pieces have to sum to 7 in order to correct the fact I only want 49 of value in the red, but I've got 56 of value in the first 2 rows. So that one's not doing anything. That one is. That one is contributing half its value to jigsaw pieces that are not in the not the red ones. Yeah, and that's nice because that's the same as this one. So those 2 together are contributing. Let me just make sure about this. Half of 6, I think, because that one's got 2 quadrants in the red pieces. That one's got 2 quadrants in the red pieces. So half of 6 is 3. So we've got 3. So now, oh, this is actually, that one is in, that's interesting. I was going to say those 3 are where we're going to find the other 4 of value. We've got to disperse down the grid, but that one's not true. That one there is actually in this red one. So although it's sort of made its way quite far down, it's a bit like this one. So actually it's just those 2, I think. So these 2... Oh, hang on, I'm losing track here. This is difficult. So those 2 are contributing 4 of value to get. We've got to correct it to 7 overall. These give 3. So these are giving rise to 4 of value. So whatever that is, you take half of it, and that's part of the 4. And whatever that one is, you take 3/4 of it. So 3/4 of that plus half of that is equal to 4. Now, okay, that's interesting for this digit. That's got to be even now. Because if that wasn't, if that was, say, a 5, oh, it can't be a 5, let's use an odd number. That's not 5, let's use 3. If that's 3, what we've just said is that 3/4 of 3 is being sent off down the grid. and that can't be right, because we know overall these have to contribute an integer value, because overall these are contributing 4 of value to pieces that are not the red pieces. So if this is contributing something that's a fraction, got a quarter as a fraction, this would have to give something that was a quarter of the fraction to correct the count. But that can only give rise, even if this is an odd number, it's only going to give rise to halves, isn't it? If it's an even number, it's giving rise to integers going down. So that cannot be odd. This must be even. And unfortunately, that doesn't mean we know what it is. It's 2, 4, 6. And what do these have to do together? 4. Right, so if that's a 2, it's contributing 1.5 down the grid. So this would, that doesn't work. Because that would mean that this has to contribute 2.5 down the grid, which means it would have to be the digit 5. It's because we're only taking half of that value and contributing it down the grid. This is one of the hardest things to explain ever. But anyway, 5 won't work. We've already had a 5 in that row. So this is not a 2. Now, if this is a 4, well, that's going to make the maths easier, because if that's 4, it's contributing 3 of value, because 3/4 of it is going away. So this would have to contribute 1 of value, so that would be a 2. So 4 here puts 2 here. And 6 here, so 3/4 of 6 is 18 over 4, which is 4.5. That's too big. 6 can't work. If this was contributing 4.5 value down the grid, plus these two contributing 3, we're already at 7.5. That's too much. So that's 4, that's 2. I mean, that's hard. That's hard, isn't it? But it's given us digits, and now 3, 6, 7 can go into those cells. So now, well, now what does that mean? That's definitely gonna mean something. He says, immediately failing to see what. So hang on, what's going on with this second piece then? That's got half of 2 in it, 1, and either 1/4 or 1 1/4 from this piece. So these two digits are adding up to either 11 or 10. So they don't include 1s and 2s. I mean, this is so, it's a terrible pencil mark again. Is there any way that's wrong? It could be. This column. Can we do? Yeah, we can do that logic, can't we? Here as well. Actually, that's what we should do. That's what we should do. We're going to change. Right, we're going to change our red. Let's change our reds to those. Or should we make them purple this time? Yeah. So we have purple now. So again, those 4 jigsaw pieces, the value in them sums to 49. We know the value in the first 2 columns of the grid is 50. Well, the actual digits are 56. So 49 of those 56 are getting plonked into here. So 7 have to be getting plonked out. So that one's contributing something out. That is a digit that is in column 2, so it's in the 56, but it's not wholly in the purples, is it? I'm going to say, yeah, half of it is contributing outside, and half of this one again. So it's the same stuff again. So these are contributing 3 outside. That one is wholly in purple, actually, so that one's not relevant. This one is contributing 2 outside, I think. So now we're at 5 outside. Hang on, where's... Hang on, there's something weird about this column. Because that one is wholly... Oh, that one's wholly out! Ah! Right, this is massive. Look at this column. This is where we probably should have started here, but how you're meant to know that, I don't know. If you look at this column, I think the values that are going out of the purple jigsaws are that one, this one, which we know, and that one, which is actually entirely out. We don't even have to do any fractions on it. So, we've got 3, 4, 5, that's a 2. What's that doing? So now the minimum value of those is 3, which is 6. So the maximum value of this... Well, it depends. If that's only a quarter, this could be a... That could be a 6. That could be a 6. So the only digit I can definitively rule out from this is it being a 7. Ah, one of those must be a 3, though. That's interesting. One of those must be a 3, because if they were 6 and 7, that's 13, and that's blowing up the first jigsaw piece. It's making it too large. One of these is a 3. So the corner digit can't be a 3. I don't know. Okay. Wow. What we probably have to do here is the same, this sort of trick that we've been using. We've probably got to do it here and here, I would think. Right, let's see if we can see an easier place to do it. Is it, because that was easier, I just didn't realise. So if it was this one. Yeah, see, this one's a little interesting. I think it's just going to be those two that we have to consider, I think. So those orange. So it becomes a bit of a sludgy orange. Whereas here, have we got... That one is outside, that one's outside, that one's outside. Right, that's more complicated. I'm going to try this one. So, if we do... It's the same maths again, isn't it? Now that's contributing. So if we give these, let's make sure we understand. We're looking at those. I think it's these two. That one's outside, that one's outside. Again, it's half outside each. So these have to contribute 4 outside. That's contributing half its value. So this has to be even. Ah, no, careful, Simon. No, that's not true. That's not true, is it? Ah, bobbins. Yeah, it's different. I thought that was going to be a quarter again, but it's not. It's got two of its quadrants are outside purple jigsaw pieces, and that's got effectively half of it as well. So it's half of both of those. Ah, so we can get the sum. Because we know these are contributing 3, so these have to contribute. These add up to 8, is what we've just worked out. Because net they have to contribute 4, but it's only half in each case. So the sum of those two digits, the naked sum, is 8. Now they're not 1, 7, and they're not 3, 5, so they are 2, 6. That's lovely. That is lovely. This Kaktuslav, this is so, I mean, it's so different. It's weird. Now, 3, 4, and 7 now into these cells. No, I thought that looked like it was going to be interesting, didn't it? Can that be a 1 or a 2? I'm just looking at this row. I've got all these massive digits, and it just feels like that can't be a 1 or a 2, but that could be wrong. If that's a 2, 2 plus 7 is 9. That's contributing 1 to it, so that's 10, and that's got a maximum of 1 1/4. 11 1/4 is not enough. Right, that is not a 1 or a 2. I've found a 1 2 pair in row 1. This digit is big. Oh no, come on. Oh, do I know what they sum? Oh no, I don't, because I don't know what that is. Oh. 10. Oh no, I really don't. I really don't. That's so distressing. Okay, we're going to have to do the same thing, I think, down here. What on earth am I meant to do with this? I'm sorry, just let me mull this over for a moment. I mean, I think it's going to be here that I have to find some joy. I'm not absolutely certain. Is there some... You see, I keep thinking I see shapes that are interesting, but then that could be a 7, and then that doesn't have to be that big, and it's still got a contribution of quite a big digit from there anyway. Lots of these shapes have so many bits and pieces going into them. Right, okay, let's try... Okay, we're going to have to try these two. So, where are the jigsaw pieces in the bottom? They are there. Let's use red this time. What's sending value outside of the first or the bottom 2 rows? That one is. That one is. That one. See, it's the whole 5 of those. It's all 5, I think. Now, are these 2 contributing half again? Yes. So we take half of 7, no, half of 6 is 3. So these have to contribute 4 away. So it's these 3 that we're going to focus on. And this one is half, and that one is half. What is that one? See, that one's a 1/4 again. That's a weirder one. Right. So what we can say about this is it's even, can't we? Because the overall contribution these are making up the grid is an integer. So if this was an odd number, we're taking a 1/4 of that odd number. So we're getting a 1/4 as a fraction, and I can't correct for that with these. So this is 2 or 6. So if it's 2, let's just think this through. If that's a 2, the contribution is a 1/4 of 2, so it's a half. So these would have to add to 7, I'm going to claim. Because they need to contribute 3.5 away. So that is a bit restricted, because they couldn't be 1 6 or 2 5, so they would be 3 4 if this is a 2. What about if this is 6? If that doesn't work, then we might be in quite good shape. So if this is 6, it's contributing. It's a 1/4 of 6 away, which is 1.5, isn't it? Which means hang on, so it's 1.5 away. So I'm on a total of 4.5. So these add up to 2.5, which means, but we're doubling that because we're only taking half of them. So these add up to 5. With this being a 6 and having 1 in the row, these would have to be a 2-3 pair. Oh, 2 would be here. This would have to be 3. So this is very restricted, actually. It's either 6, 2, 3, or it's 2, 3, 4. So there is definitely a 3 in these cells. I think is there a 2 as well? There might not have been a 2. Yeah, no, there is, because there's either a 2 here, or this is 2, 3. And if that's 6, it's 2, 3. If it's 2, yeah. So 2 and 3 are in those cells. Definite. Which means no. Ah. So that's 4, 6, or 7 as well then. So the minimum sum of these now is 7. Doesn't put any pressure on that digit at all. Well, not any real pressure. I suppose it can't be 6 anymore. I refuse to pencil mark that. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I don't know. I mean, I'm staring at this. I'm afraid I haven't. I know that's got a low digit in it, but it's also could have a high digit in it. Because I'm just looking at where 1 and 2 go in that row, or that column, I should say. I'm now starting to wibble. Can that be a... No, that can be a 1, can't it? I was wondering about 1 in the bottom row, whether it could be here. But that, I think, is probably where it is going to go, actually, because these can take all the slack to get to 12 1/4. Yeah, 1, 6, 4, 5 would work, for example. And if that isn't a 1, where is 1 in the bottom row? Does it have to be there, or could it actually be a whole digit? I'm not sure. I'm just going to take a look at that. I'm going to leave that yellow highlighting in, because that's referring to that 2, 3 pencil mark I've made. That can't be 2, actually. One of these is a 2. One of those is a 7. I thought I had an X-wing on 7s, but that could be a 7 apparently. Otherwise I'd had an X-wing on 7s, and that really would have been exciting. I wonder if that can be a 7. If that's a 7, 7, 8, 8 1/4, or 9 1/4. That's 3 or 4. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, that's fine. Bother. Okay, so I was trying to think about 1 in this row. Where is 1? I think it can be here. It looks difficult for it to be there, doesn't it? That could be a 7, but it would only contribute 3 1/2. So 3 1/2. 6 1/2 is the maximum for those. Six and a half. And then that might be fine, actually. 7. So that gives rise to 3 1/2 here. So 3 1/2. 6 1/2. Now, if this was a 6, I think it's contributing 3 to this one. So I'm then at 9 1/2, I think. And if that's 6, what did they have to be? They were going to be, I can't remember now, 1 1/2. This was a 3 in that situation, so that's another 1 1/2 coming into here. 9, what was I on? 9 1/2, so I'm on 11. And then if that's a 5, that gets me to 12 1/4, I think. Maybe. I mean, it's quite forcing if this is a 1. Actually, I might think about that in a different way then. Ooh, no. No, I'm pretty... Well, I don't know, actually. I'm not sure. I think that can be a 1, but I'm not sure. That's got a lot of calculations to do. I was then thinking about 1 in this column. Oh, that surely can be a 1. I presume. So yeah, sorry. I'm quite sure that. Well, I say I'm not quite sure of anything, to be perfectly honest. I'm really not. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What on earth are we meant to look at now? I've used all the tricks that I can possibly believe are in this puzzle. I mean, that is a slightly terrifying thought, though. I mean, could you keep applying that weird logic for more and more rows, if you see what I mean? So could I extend it to 4 rows and then try and work out what's going on? But I think that's going to be horrendous. I mean, you could try it, or maybe we do have to try it in extremis. But let me just try and think about other things that are not going to be quite as complicated as that first. Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to do. Or maybe these 4 columns. What's crossing over? That one, that one, that one. At least we'd know them. Well, actually, maybe that is what we have to do. I don't know. That's a terrifying thought. But I'm not seeing so many things that are crossing the boundary. If we were to look at this here, I think it's 3 cells only, which is not that many in the context of a puzzle this complicated. So let's have a think about that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 jigsaw pieces. If we highlight those, that's definitely 8 jigsaw pieces worth of digits, which we know from our logic are going to add up to 98, don't we? The value in those is going to be 98. At least I think it is. Yeah, half of 196, so that does make sense. Now, we also know that the first 4 columns of the grid are going to contain digits that sum to 112. So the difference between 98 and 112 is 14. So 14 has to be contributed outside. Now, how is that being achieved? So we're saying that's including this, isn't it? So it's these. So 14 has to be, it's what's sharing digits to the right of this. So that's sharing with this one. And and this one, in fact. So half of 4 is outside. So that's 2. That one is in the first 4 columns. So it's in my 112. So it's the entirety of this digit is contributing. Three-quarters of this digit is contributing. The entirety of this digit, half of this digit, and half of this digit. So is that telling us that that middle digit is even? I think it might be. Because that digit has to be... No, I'm not sure. Oh, no, it does. I think it is, because this central digit is a bit complicated. How many of its quadrants are contributing to a purple cell? I think it's only 1. So it has got 3/4 of it going elsewhere. And I don't think we can correct that anywhere else if that was odd. That's a halver. That's a halver. That's an integer. That's an integer. That's taking half of the, yeah. Okay, so that's even. So that's 2 or 6. So now I've got all of the evens there, 1, 3, 5, and 7 into these cells. And that's totally hopeless. Ah, Bobbins, McBobbins face. Oh, I've got a 2, 6 pair here, though. I didn't see that, so that's not 6 anymore. That's... Oh, I see. And that's not 4 either, actually. So I've got the same thing going down here. I've got all the odd digits, 1, 3, 5, and 7. So now I can get rid of my purplification, and we can think harder again. Goodness me. This is not straightforward at all. But I'm sure we can do it. We just have to have the right thought, he says, somewhat desperately. Where is... Can that be a 1? I think maybe it's about 1s, this puzzle. I suspected some of these massive regions, it's difficult to put a 1. Like if that's a 1, each of these other numbers is contributing a maximum of a half to the total. So even if that's 6 and that's 7, which is the most they could be looking at the pencil marking, that's half of that's half of 13, isn't it? Which is 6.5 plus the 1, 7.5, 8.25, and that's only getting a quarter value. That doesn't work. That doesn't even come close to working. So 1 in this row, is that restrict? Can it be there? This is the horrible one. What about... Oh, this has got a whole... Yeah, it could definitely be here in those two, because that could be a 7 whole integer value. So can it be there? That's the question. Can 1 be here in row 3, column 3? I'm going to put it in and think about it. The answer might be yes, unfortunately. But for this to be a 1, let's make this 5. I see it's got so many components, it's probably fine, actually, because that could be 7 and 6. Oh, we're going to have to do it, so let's think this through. So if this is 7 and 6, the 6 is only contributing a quarter of itself. So that's 1.5 plus half of 7, 3.5 is 5. Plus 1 is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It doesn't know. You can't get there. You can't get there. You can get to 11 and a quarter. I'm going to double check it, but I think you can only get to 11 and a quarter. Right, 6 here. That is definitely only contributing a quarter of itself. So 1.5. Half of 7 is 3.5. So that's 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Have I missed a corner? I don't think I have. That can only be 1.25. Right. So where is 1 in this row is a question I'm going to ask. And I'm going to say it wasn't there and it wasn't there. So it is in one of those two cells. So it is in this one. But I want to then do killer Sudoku and sort of say it can't be here, but you're not allowed to do that. Yeah, so 1 is... Yeah, 1 is becoming a bit of a tricky creature in this column, isn't it? It's not there anymore. So it's, I think it might have to be here. What about if it's there? Let's just have a quick look at that. If that is a 1, that feels wrong. Because actually that's the only full cell in this funny little... This is a very funny piece here, isn't it? If that's a 1, let's make that a 7. So that's 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. We're nowhere near. Nowhere near. 5.5, 6, 7.5. Yeah, that's absolutely hopeless. In fact, that digit might have to be quite a big digit. So either this is a 1 or that is a 1. That seems to be the case that we've just deduced. Now, how do we deal with that? I don't know. We worked out this could be a 1, couldn't it? I think it was difficult, but I think it could be. I think it forced everything. And maybe it's quite interesting if it does force everything. I'd probably suggest it could be correct. So we get, if this was 1, we get 3. So maximum of 4.25. Maximum of 6.25 for those 4. 6.25. If that was a 6, oh, if that's a 6, now you can't put 4 there, can you? So we have to be, you have to be a bit careful. 3, 4.25, 4.25. It's definitely better to make this a 6. So 7.25, 8.75. And if that's a 7, you'd be adding 3.5 onto 8.75 to get 12.25. Yeah, so it is absolutely exact if that is a 6. If it's a 2, it's nowhere near. You can't make it work. And then that would be a 1. Now the problem is, I don't think there can possibly be a reason that this is prevented from being a 1. Although it is putting pressure on that one. Oh, that could be a massive point. Please be right. No, it's wrong. It's definitely wrong. As if this is a 7. 7, 8. 9, 10, 10.5. No! This is it. This is it. Oh, wow. Okay, that's so difficult to see. I don't think that can be a 1 because of this piece. I'm definitely doing it again. I'm so sorry I'm having to check my logic over and over again here, but this is really, it's so complicated for me at least. Right, if that's a 1, I can make that 7, no problem. So that's 7. This could be a 4, that's fine. That contributes 2. So I've got 9 there, 9.5, 10.5, and only that to go. Well, that can be 1.25. It's not enough to get me high enough. It's just not enough. So this is not a 1. And now the... Yeah, and now the 1 is there. This is massive. This is massive because this puts so much pressure on this piece. Right. So the only way that worked is if this was 6, this was 7. This was 3, wasn't it? And that, I think that made that 2 because we knew there were a 2 and a 3 in that sequence. I think this had to be 5 now in order to make this add up. It was totally maxed out. So that's a 1, that's a 5, that's a 1. So it's very conceivable that this is what you're intending to do. You're intended to do, because it actually does give you a few digits, which is a very, very welcome thing. Okay, so let's do pencil marks now. So 3 comes out of here. That, the middle digit's now 2, 6, 2. 7 comes out of here. 7, 7. Oh, come on. Come on, little puzzle. Well, this cell's interesting, isn't it? Can't I work that out? I mean, that's completely anathema. Okay, we've got 1.5 contributed by the 6. So these are 5, 6, 6.25. So that's a 6. That has to be a 6 by maths. So this cell in the corner is not 6 or 7 now. Oh, look, we know what these add up to, because we've got 1.25, so these add up to 11. So they're 7 and 4. Oh, this is so good. Oh, my, look, we're going to get this done now. Well, I say get the whole thing done. Probably we are. Quarter here, so 7.25, so that's a 5, and that the maths works. I mean, it's perhaps not surprising that maths works, but in this puzzle, I haven't been sure. 7, 4, 7 and 4 come out of this. I've got a quarter here, so those add up to 12. One of them is a 3, so that has to be 372, doesn't it? I can't see another way of making those add up to 12. Might not know the order, but we know that that's 3, 7. No, we do know the order actually. 7, 3, 2, 1. So this is 1, 5 or 6. There is definitely a 1, look, in this piece here. 7 comes out of some pieces in the top row. Right, so it's going to be this one now. We've got 2.25, so these add up to 10. Oh, bother. Oh, we can't do that, unfortunately. Although we can, now that's a 4. So that's a 6, and we can do it. So that's a 7. And now I'm pretty sure we can do the maths on this one, but let's see if we can keep going without having to do any more maths. That's going to be my tip for the top for this puzzle. Try to do it without doing any maths. Okay, what have we got? 2, 3. This is a 3 or a 7 by Sudoku, so I think I can put 2 in the final column. I mean, we must be able to do all sorts of maths up here now. Because what have we got? We've got 1.25, so these have to add up to 11. So that's 5, 6, and we know exactly how that's going to work. This is now a 3. Let's check this one adds up. I've got 10, 11, 12.25. It must be right, because it's working. This is not 7 or 3. Oh, where's 2 in this column? We can just write. Oh, no. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, my goodness. That was horrible. I misscanned it and thought I had to put 2 in it. I have to put 4 in it. Okay, well, that's a big relief. 1, 5, 4. There's going to be some... Is it this piece? It probably is. What have we got? We've got 1 from here and a quarter from here. So these add up to 11. So I think they're 5 and 6, and that seems to be resolved. Look, it's just, I'm just filling it in. Yeah, here we go. 4, 1. I mean, I haven't checked these middle pieces, but the fact that the Sudoku is working suggests. Let's check this mad one. Because if the mad one's correct, it must be correct, mustn't it? If the mad one is correct. Now the mad one is 4, 7.5, 8.5, 9, 11, 12 and a quarter. It worked. This must be right. That's fantastic. What a fantastic puzzle. That is completely unique in the history of puzzles I've done on the channel. Mad is what that is. I mean, on the back of yesterday's, absolutely mad, and I loved it. Let me know in the comments how you got on with that one. Kaktuslav, take a bow. What a puzzle. Enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.